firstly, we're just going to give this a go. Let me know if you can hear this, if it sounds okay. I'm in an area in which the internet is not so good, but it looks like it might be working. So I'm just having a look. Grab your cup of tea, grab your glass of water. I've got my vitamin here. I've got my coffee, and we're going to give this a go. It looks like it's at least it's on and happening. So I'm going to give this a whirl. Here at the decision table, we look at, you know, the problems, and we look at the solution and how can narrow the gap from problem to solution. And often that is, if you look into the framework of it, it can work that where are you now, your starting point, where do you want to be, and how do we narrow from where you are now to where you want to be is another way to look at it. It works in so many different frameworks, and it's a really great framework and something that I think is so important as we continue to look at a decision table of how we can do the gap rather than widen the gap to solutions. So we're going to give this a go, and if you are on Facebook, you have to give StreamYard the permission so that I know who is on, and let me just make sure that chat happening or comments happening so that I can, there we go, so that I can see if you're on. Where you are, let me know what part of the world you are in at the moment. We are in Byron Bay. We decided as a family it was a good thing to get away and just what to do this week. We just literally, that's what we were doing when we're on the road. We like to change just changes it, and we bought for I know one of the other decision tables, but we bought electric bikes, and so we brought those up with us, and that's been kind of fun. Around Byron Bay on the bus and enjoying some warmth and sun. If there's one thing I'm missing about the fact that I'm located in one spot, is that one spot you get wind, and because of that it gets cold. And I don't know if any of you have pain or have hurt yourself in any way. The cold can often escalate things like pain. And so, you know, I know one thing has been great about our travel is that we've been in the sun, and it's been so good for the day. But anyway, we are having some sun up here. It is beautiful. Just the internet's a little bit touch and go. So hopefully this is working. Let me know if it is working. Have you got your? I've actually got a latte here and my vitamin. So I'm in for a time here on a decision. That feels better. All right, so the question I asked today was, what are your indicators, or what will be your indicators that you will look for and in movement forward? How will you even know if we think about where you are now? Let's just put it in plain English, where you are now, your starting point now, and where you want to be. What are the indicators along the way to know that you've progressed from where you are to where you want to be? I think it's really easy to kind of dream and get excited about the result you want to bring. And here's the thing. If you're in for a sustainable future, if you're in for the bigger goals, the bigger projects, these things don't happen overnight. These things are often really huge, and there's a lot of shifts along the way to do to move along. Hey, yes, we are on. All right, thank you, Joe. So here's the question: are you, and have you got those things that are going to give you indicators along the way to know that you are on the right track? Because I think that's really important, being able to track where you are now, track where you want to be going, and track how are you on track as you keep going along? Wisdom is the ability to consistently make the best decisions possible at any time, based on the information present, including promptings from spirit. I love that. Yeah, I think wisdom is definitely the ability to be able to have knowledge, and I think that's one of the reasons that I'm really strong on awareness. You know, we have the excuse always, we don't know what we don't know. And what's the thing is, when you do know what you don't know or haven't known, is an awareness, and now it becomes a responsibility, or I talk about that's when we need to take ownership, right? So I guess if we're thinking of starting point, we're thinking of where you want to be and the longer term of goals, because not many people actually talk about long-term goals yet. It is so important. Hey, Ryan, I am in the house. Woo! And it's actually working, which is really cool. I didn't think it would. So this is even better to know you're in the house. Where are you at the moment? Are you in Melbourne still? I think that's where I last knew you were. And we've got Joe from California. Interesting. When we have a starting point, when we have a result, it's really easy when it's a short-term thing, when it's just this, here's the one thing and here's where we're heading, right? And it's easy to get there. What is hard and what is needed is a sustainable solutions at the table. Now, this is such bigger thinking, and it's often very, very difficult for us as humans to stay on track for the longer, because as humans, we like to be told, yep, we're doing a great job. Yes, we're heading in the right direction. Yes, we've got this. Oh, I can see on this. What's hard is to keep that dream alive, to keep that solution at the table when it's a long-term one, if you don't have indicators on the way. And so this is where indicators become so important, I believe, for you to be able to make the culture shifts that are needed as you continue along. Why? Because that means things like, so indicators are things like drivers. Drivers are the things that when it gets tough, you come to the solution, because it's hard work, when things fail on you, when it's hard to get back on your feet, it's hard to get up every day because you're not seeing, but you know that this is where you're meant to be going, but you're not necessarily seeing the results at right now. Drivers become an important indicator along the way. Drivers are things that you'll get up no matter what, that come beyond you and about something else or others, which is why it's so important what decision you're making at the table, right? So anyway, drivers are an important indicator. I think things that are what you're tracking. So companies or businesses, I think it's really important to track. It's easy to make a decision because you feel like this could be the right decision. Here's the thing. Then you've got to take consequence when it's wrong. What data gives you is a less of a risk in which you take a decision, because it's not based on emotion. It's actually based on what is a truth from what you can see. I know, pretty full on for those that it's Monday and listen to that coffee. I'm on fire. I had a lot of fresh air yesterday. I was reading, which I love doing. Amazing book actually on the computer. Let me have a look, and I'll just pull it out for a second. This is a book. It's called The Future is Faster Than You Think. I'm really interested in future thinking, and in a lot of ways I'm quite a futurist in the way that I innovate. And the reason being is that I think we can learn a lot from the past, but I don't think we can, like I mean, you can prove me wrong, but I can't go back into the past and change it right now. But I have every decision I make at the table I have the power to make a different decision to change the future. And so I'm always looking into the future. And this is why indicators are really important if you think about it, because if we are making solutions that are not just fixing the emergency now, but we're looking at fixing solutions and having better solutions at the decision table, then there is the importance of us to have to make sure we've got good indicators to know that we're heading in the right direction. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So drive is really important for these long-term solutions, and particularly for future things, because it's definitely, if you're a pioneer of anything new, so you're leading something that is not being done exactly the same way that you're doing it, or you feel that you have your intellectual property that you're bringing to the table, then it is really important, because there's not that pathway that you're going, oh, there's the leader that has done it exactly how I want to do it, or there's the, the scientist that's come up with that exact thing that is going to be where you need to go. So I find it really interesting that, for futuristic, innovative things and solutions at the decision table, there is much more than think about as variables. So for indicators, so drivers, I think, are extremely important. I think that we have pillars that keep your vision together, and these are the things that help give you a pathway forward, even though you may not know exactly all the details to make sure you're getting there, but you know that these pillars are going to hold that vision in the middle. And so I believe there's 4 pillars in which to hold your vision of whatever project that you need for next, or the solution that you need for next. And this will hold the vision no matter what. And it gives you a pathway forward, even though maybe the things aren't clear and you're not sure of those things. But it gives a pathway in which to take people on the journey to get solutions. So it makes it clear even when we can't necessarily see that now. Because that's what happens, is when we see a result, we go, oh, I can see that works. It's a proven strategy. It's a proven solution. And I think as the world is changing so fast, we have to look through the lens of not proven strategies, but evolving strategies. And not so much proven solutions, but evolving solution. And these are indicators that, yes, we can see there's progress on the movement forward, and we see that we're still moving forward. And this is one way in which you can be in a very changing future, in a very changing world that we all are living in right now. Whew. Are you breathing? Is this good? Are you getting this, or is this just like crazy? I love it. It's how I work. It's how I work with people. But I also know it's not often people are bringing it back to very much the short term, because it's much easier as a human for us to keep moving forward. So I like to think very much in big stuff and then bring it back into small steps, small shifts along the way. All right, so I believe there's drivers that are good indicators. I think tracking is an amazing thing. I think there's pillars that need to be done, and I think that one of the things that's really important is the solutions that each pillar will bring. What do I mean by that? Here's the thing so I run a company called Decision Velocity Global, and if I think of the vision we have for that company, what it is to increase the distinctions at top decision tables, to help build leaders, innovators, and influence make decisions fast, and to give voice and advocacy for the frontline humanity. That's the vision, and the 4 pillars are disruption, innovation, collaboration, and contribution. And here's the 4 things. So if we think of disruption, looking at patterns, become aware of those and disrupting the patterns at the decision table, right? And so the solution on that piece of the pillar pathway is what I call, and I wish I could draw this for you, and I probably will do it on a Zoom at some stage, but this is just speak thinking at the moment. So pillar disruption, and then what the solution is, the speed of your decisions. So it's speed. And we look at those, and those are the indicators to know whether we're disrupting the pattern or not, the speed of your decisions. And then if I look at the next piece of the journey, right? The next piece of the journey is what I call innovation. And when we get to innovation, what we look at is the solutions that you're bringing to the decision table. And if we look at your solutions, are you reaching those results, whether it's the sustainable ones, the long term or the short term? Where are you at? How does that look? And if you are able to innovate, then we move it along to collaboration. And that is the third pillar that holds the vision for Decision Velocity Global. When we get there, we look at scale. And we look at those indicators at what capacity you can play at, to what gaps you are narrowing, and where you are widening the gap rather than narrowing the gap from problem to solution, and how do you do that in a bigger, more you and stuff, right? And then contribution, looking at the sustainable side of it and going, how does this work? What are we looking at to make sure that it's going to be great for the generations just for today, not just fixing the emergency fixes, but looking at the long term as well. And so those are great indicators to know that the vision is going to be done and we're going to get from problem to solution and narrow it down. What are your indicators? What are the things that you have in place that you know you're lifting that dial closer towards the result you want? And those are the things that are really important in everything we do. And, you know, those are the things that I know help to know that we're moving it. What are your indicators? What are you tracking? What are the things that are helping you to know that you're even on the right track? You looked at those? What does that look like for you? What you're doing? And is it bringing the result that you really desire and hope for? All right. Well, hopefully this has been helpful and has worked. It looks like it has. And I'll see you soon. Keep making sure. By the way, if you're in the Leaders Movement, some conversations are happening in there. The Leaders Movement Facebook group, some really good ones in there. So let's continue the conversation. All right. See you soon.